What is up, heroes? This is Midnight Zero, and welcome back to Let's Play The Legend of Zelda for the NES. In the last episode, we took down Gleeok in the 4th dungeon, and powered up our sword, and found the power brace, and finished off the heart containers in the overworld. In this episode, we are going to finish off the 5th dungeon by taking down Digdogger. So, let's get going. Alright, so we're going to start off by going over to the right, and we're going to be greeted by a new set of enemies. These enemies are called Pole's Voice, and they're one-shotted by the arrows. So, that's pretty nice. They are hurt by other weapons, but it takes, I think, 3 hits from the magical sword, so it's just worth it to use the arrows. And another thing is, when we use the arrows, we actually use 1 rupee per fire, or like per arrow shot. So, that's another thing to keep in mind, especially if you're low on rupees. But you shouldn't be if you're following this guide, because we got all the secrets, or maybe not all of them, but a lot of the secrets to everybody. So, in this room we're greeted by another new enemy, I think, called Gibdos, and what they do is provide a nice little key for us, so we can go over here and listen to our good old buddy, the old man, who's going to give us some advice. Digdogger hates certain kind of sound. Well, aside from the bad grammar, that's actually really helpful and tells us that we need to find something in this dungeon that's going to provide a sound to help weaken the boss. So we're going to start looking for secrets, naturally, right? Because Nintendo expects us to always look for secrets when we enter a dungeon. And we're greeted by more Gibdos. And yay, clock power up. They can't touch this. The Gibdos really aren't that bad enemy. They're like that bad for enemies. And I'm going to use my bomb here before I get these bombs from that Gibdo so that I can be back at max bombs for this room. And this room is arguably one of the harder rooms in the game because of all these blue dark nuts, which take multiple hits and are really actually a pain to beat. I'm trying to use my sword beam as much as I possibly can. Try and keep my range, because these things do quite a bit. Even though we have powered up armor, we take 1 heart, I believe, every time they hit us. And they don't stop. They don't ease up. It's like they're fast moving, and once you get hit, they just keep going. So it's very easy to die in this room. So be careful and take your time. We're doing pretty well so far, which is nice. Come on. Trying to keep my distance, which makes it tough to predict where they're going to go and such. And I missed out on those 5 rupees, but we're pretty good. So, darn it. And sword beam's gone. That's going to make this much more difficult. Come on, would you be a little bit more predictable, maybe? Finally. Okay, so we only lost 3 hearts. That's not too bad. So now we can move that block and actually come down here and make our way towards this little secret item that we will be getting. Or it's not really... Well, I guess it's kind of secret. But anyways, we're going to be going down here with the key. And you're going to be wondering first why they would make us use a key to go to a room with just a bunch of keys and another key, making the room essentially useless. But what's actually really important is that if you channel your inner RPG player and look for secrets, like we have been through the beginning of this dungeon, we're going to use a bomb over on this wall, and we meet the good old man again, who is offering us a bomb bag upgrade, so we can carry up to 12 bombs maximum. It costs 100 rupees though, so I highly recommend you have 100 rupees when you come into this dungeon. If necessary, you can farm for them at the graveyard, and I can show you how to do that in a later video. But now that we have that, we are going to come over into this room here, where there are a lot more blue dark nuts, except this time we don't have our sword beam, so it's going to be even more difficult. Yay for difficulty! So, then again, this room is somewhat easier than the last one, though, because of the extra space, because you don't have that big diamond of blocks in the middle of the room. So, a lot of people... Oh, did I just get a blue dark nut double kill? Wow. That's... I impressed myself. And we're having some difficulty with the very last one. But, anyways, now we can move that block and go to this hidden staircase where we find a new item. And depending on where you look or who you talk to, it's going to be called the whistle, the flute, or the recorder. Something that makes noise, either way. We know it's a musical instrument. So that is going to be very helpful against Digdogger, the boss. So now that we have this, we can go all the way back to the earlier part of the dungeon. Now, sadly enough, the blue dark nuts that we took out and that gave us such a hard time are going to respawn, but we do not need to defeat them again. We just need to avoid them so that we can get out of here in one piece. And that actually went pretty nicely, so that's good. And we don't need to defeat these Gibdos either, even though they do drop items, so if you do need to farm for rupees or hearts really badly, you can go in there. And you're going to want to make sure you have a lot of bombs before you enter this next room, so that's important. Ooh, heart. And now we can go up into this room, where we are going to be met by 3 Dodongos. And, oh shoot, I already missed. But, Dodongos, what? That's garbage. Okay, well, that was a bad start. But Dodongos are really not that bad. Once... Come on, get hold of yourself. Once you feed them with 1 bomb, they're done. Because if you just place a bomb on their heads, once they're like blowing up from the first bomb, they'll automatically eat the next one, which makes it a lot easier. And so, like the first time, 2 bombs will take them out. And hopefully we get a fairy? No. Well, either way, now we have bombs, and we got a couple hearts back, so that's okay. We're going to use our key to come up north and get the map and head right back out. And now you can see on the map, this kind of looks like a lizard. If you're told it's a lizard, you can try to sort of make it out to be a lizard. But it works for now. So now we enter this room and we have a whole bunch of Zols, and I'm actually going to keep my candle out, and I always do that. I walk into the fire I create. Zelda problems. But we're going to take out these Zols.
Souls!
Seriously, Nightmare? Again? I said Zols, not souls! Now where was I? And that'll get us some nice rupees, which we really only need for 1 more item in the game. We're getting so close to the end. It's almost over. So sad. Well, that is until Zelda 2. Get ready for that. I guess I should bring that up. I plan on Let's playing Mega Man 3 and Legend of Zelda 2, Link's Adventure, or The Adventure of Link, next, simultaneously. So look forward to that. So we enter this room, and I'm going to light it up. And red dark nuts only take 1 hit from our magical sword, so that's going to be nice. And a cool little trick is, if you're on one of these spaces, like in the lava, they technically can't, like, turn onto your space, so you just wait for them to walk by and you can easily take them out. And that'll get us the compass, which is going to show us where the piece of Triforce is. And now we enter another room with a nice mixture of enemies, add a little variety, and we have some pulse voice. So I'm just going to take out my my bows and arrows, or my bow and arrows, so that we can take them out nice and easy. And we still have plenty of rupees, so that works. And just like that, we are moving on. In this room, we are greeted by some more Gibdos. Look like mummies. I don't know if any of you guys ever watched that show, Mummy Alive, but it was always on before school in the morning, and I don't know why, these Gibdos just made me think of that. That was such a good show. But regardless, this is going to get us another key, so we always have a surplus of keys. So we really didn't have to do a lot of what we've done, but the thing is, I'm trying to go for 100%, so I'm definitely going to. And I just want to get this last pulse voice. Okay, there we go. And we are going to bomb yet again another wall to talk with our good old buddy, the old man. We've been visiting him a lot recently. So, secret power is said to be in the arrow. Why, thank you very much, old man. That is going to be very helpful later in the game, because arrows are a very special weapon against the boss. And speaking of bosses, here we are at Digdogger. So I'm going to pull out our musical instrument and play it, which is a nice little tune that shows up in Super Mario Bros. 3. It's the same tune as that whistle. And that's going to shrink him down so we can attack his eye just straight forward. And the hardest part of this boss, and I've never had such a hard time with him, is actually dodging all of the fireballs, or whatever they are, from the statue. So, Digdogger is down. He only takes 2 hits after the whistle from the magical sword. And we grab that heart container, and now we have another piece of the Triforce. That much closer to saving Zelda. Alright, and so another cool thing is, after you get out of the dungeon, this enemy can't attack you while you're, like, in the dungeon, like, entrance. Which is kind of funny. But, alright, anyways, we're gonna make our way to the next dungeon. So coming out of here, we're going to go to the left to exit this little Lost Woods-like puzzle and fight that one little thing. Not a problem anymore. They were annoying in the beginning of the game, but dodge some boulders like a boss and keep moving. And what's really convenient, and you'll see, is now that we have the stepladder, we can actually cut right across here, so we don't have to go through the Lost Woods again to get back by the graveyard, which is where the next dungeon is. So we can just cut over here, and a cool little trick I'm going to show you guys is, if you have enough rupees, which in this case I do, and don't feel like saving it up for a potion, you can bomb this wall here, and that's another shop, and we need to buy the meat eventually. So this is like on the road, and you can buy the meat here for 100 rupees, but there's another shop that sells it for 60 rupees, which I'll be getting it at later, so that I can save up some rupees and potentially get a potion before the final dungeon and final battle against Ganon. So that's whatever your choice. If you have a lot of rupees and can afford it, if you have like a spare 60 rupees in addition to the 100, you can still have plenty for the potion and for this. So it's your call. And now we're back at the place with 10 Armo statues. I misspoke in my last one and said 8. And where we got the power brace. And you'll notice we are here. We are back by the graveyard. These Armo statues. We're going to go left. And we're actually really close. Here we are, this room here, where we have a whole bunch of Lionels. I didn't tell you guys what these enemies' names were, but they are indeed Lionels. And they're relatively strong enemies. So I'm going to try and take them out. Actually, no, I'm going to try and avoid these ones and just go to the next dungeon, where here we are, next dungeon. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the next episode. But until then, this has been Midnight Zero, and this mission is complete.